We get ready for the schoolboy action. The ankle biters are on the line. Two classes, 80cc machines, a scaled-down version of the full-size monster machines we see race here this afternoon. In the A class, the 80cc class, the 171 machine is points leader Michael Banks from Centerville, New Brunswick on an Evolve Sales and Service Honda. The number 16, Brad Jameson from Fort Hastings, Nova Scotia. He rides an Irving-sponsored Kawasaki. The number 17 is tenacious Trent Corney from Hillsborough, New Brunswick. The most stylish of all the schoolboys on a product finder Suzuki. The number 23 is Matt Stever from Bathurst, New Brunswick. He rides a Toys for Big Boys Honda. The number 7, Jamie Dunlap from North Sydney, Nova Scotia. He's had a pretty good weekend here. He rides an SO Products sponsored Honda. The number 36, the local rider, Nevin Cordeau from St. John. He rides a Honda. And the number 21, Cooper Friend, a 60cc class rider, has pulled out his 80cc machine to see what it feels like here at Hammond River Raceway. He rides a Friend and Friend cycle sponsored YZ80 Yamaha, the number 21. In the B class, the 60cc machines, the number 8 is Ryan Lockhart out of Spring Hill, Nova Scotia. And the number 170 is Matthew Banks out of Centerville, New Brunswick. The number 23 of Matt Stever was the dominant bike in the first moto. Let's see if he can pull that off again this time. I'm sure there's a rider on the number 171 bike who has something different to say about that as they head into turn one. And it is Stever with the lead. Banks in second spot on the 171 machine. And Trent Corney moving around the outside on the number 17 Suzuki. Back into their usual running order here. This is the most intense battle in the championship series. Going into yesterday's event, only 5 points separating the top 3 riders. And with a win worth 15 points, and a pair of wins for the day worth a total of 30 points, 5 points, not a heck of a lot to deal with. Rider down over on the short chute after turn one. I believe that was Nevin Cordeau that took a step off. St. John rider on the number 36 machine. A red flag is out. That will send all these riders back to the line. And now they have to store that adrenaline away. And sometimes you don't have enough adrenaline for a second start. Not only that, but you've warmed up your transmission oil, you've heated up your clutch. It can be a whole different ball game the second time the slingshot goes. The invariable first turn collision. And when you have a whole bunch of motorcycles all looking for the same turn at the same time, invariably and inevitably they will do a little bit of handlebar banging. They're screaming, 5-second card, slingshot's gone, and we have a start and no one's going for a red flag, so we are underway once again. Through turn one, and once again Matt Stever, the number 23 Honda rider out of Bathurst, New Brunswick, got an excellent start. Continues to lead through 1 and 2, and there's a bit of a collision between Trent Corney and I believe the number 7 machine of Jamie Dunlap. Cooper Friend looking good on the number 21 Yamaha Ellsworth, Maine rider, sponsored by Friend and Friend Cycle. And now Mike Banks gets back in front of the race, the 171 machine from Centerville, New Brunswick, Michael Banks. Behind him, the 23 of Matt Stever, the 7 of Jamie Dunlap, the 17 of Trent Corney, the 21 of Cooper Friend, and then our 60cc war with Ryan Lockhart, the 8-year-old with the number 8 on his number plate, in the lead. The 170 of Matthew Banks took second. Lockhart splashed down in the first moto, and that gave it all to Matthew Banks. Cheering section yelling for young Ryan Lockhart on the number 8 KX60 Kawasaki. It's followed by the CR60, the number 170 of Matthew Banks of Centerville. Pair of Banks brothers racing in this one, with Michael, the 171 machine, at the front of the field right now as they go down the short chute and head for turn number 2. Matt Stever continues to run second, Jamie Dunlap in third on the number 7 Honda, and Trent Corney on the number 17. Corney got extremely frustrated yesterday when he could not find a place to pass the number 7 machine. Had himself psyched out this morning, couldn't get around him in practice either. But he showed him the short way around the track in the first moto, and there's no reason why he can't do it again. Meanwhile, Mike Banks begins to stretch away from Matt Stever on the number 23. Corney now is through to third spot on the number 17, Product Finder Suzuki out of Hillsborough, New Brunswick. And all the way from North Sydney to, oh, major get off here by Mike Banks. Yellow flag out. Matt Stever takes over the lead. Trent Corney now sits second. Jamie Dunlop runs third, and Mike Banks gets up and back underway in fourth. Cooper Friend is fifth on the number 21 Yamaha out of Ellsworth, Maine. And then your 60cc race continues to heat up here with the number 8 of Ryan Lockhart only about 3 bike lengths ahead of the number 170 of Matthew Banks. Brian Lockhart has every intention of competing in the 60cc Nationals, believe it or not. There is a national round for these little tiny 45 RPM motorcycles. The number 23 of Matt Stever of Bathurst, New Brunswick, the Toys for Big Boys Honda, continuing to lead over the step jump. Trent Corney now can see some light at the end of the tunnel and is thinking about a first place result. Jamie Dunlop, the number 7 out of North Sydney, Nova Scotia, runs third. And Mike Banks is having a hard time getting his rhythm back after that bailoff. He runs fourth and is yet to get up on the rear wheel of Dunlop. Matt Stever, Trent Corney, Jamie Dunlap, Mike Banks on the number 171, and then Cooper Friend on the number 21 YZ80 Yamaha out of Ellsworth, Maine. That 60cc battle continues at the back of the pack with Ryan Lockhart on the number 8 machine, the number 8 KX60 Kawasaki leading the CR60 Honda of number 170 Matthew Banks. Our leaders down through the back straight now and heading for the right-hander. These riders taking the inside line. Corney takes the outside line. And he has great exit speed as he uses it to move up behind the 23 of Matt Stever. Dunlop continues to run third on the number 7 Honda. Halfway card is out for the Schoolboys. Trent Corney loses a little bit of ground through the minefield here. Matt Stever had the good line. And Mike Banks is down yet again in the left-hander that takes him to the tabletop. Let the front wheel tuck up underneath and filled his helmet with some Hammond River Raceway sand. Ryan Lockhart, the number 8 60cc machine, beginning to stretch out just a bit over Matthew Banks. Due to the tiebreaker system, Banks won the first moto with Lockhart second, but the finish in the second moto is the deciding factor when the riders are tied for points, which is if Ryan can keep the rubber side down, how they will end this one. Back in the 80cc class, still the number 23 of Bathurst, New Brunswick's Matt Stever, followed by the number 17 Product Finder Suzuki of Hillsborough, New Brunswick's Trent Corney, and then the number 7 of North Sydney, Nova Scotia's Jamie Dunlop, and he is about to take over second place. Corney lost the front wheel in the berm, and Jamie Dunlop takes over second, and now Trent Corney's really got to pour on some coal to get back into position. And as I said, he was a little spooked by Dunlap yesterday when he couldn't find a line around him, and now he has to pass him all over again for the second time this race. Well, the leader, Matt Stever, the number 23 machine, is all alone up front. Trent Corney just made a brilliant pass on Jamie Dunlap. He had Dunlap so worried that the young North Sydney, Nova Scotia rider looked over his shoulder, and at that moment, Corney stuffed it on the inside. Matt Stever on the number 23 in the lead. The 60cc war in behind him shows 8-year-old number 8, Ryan Lockhart, with the lead in that class. Matthew Banks in second. There's the second place ride in your 80cc class, the number 17 Suzuki of Trent Corney of Hillsborough, New Brunswick, and behind him Jamie Dunlap, the number 7 Honda out of North Sydney, Nova Scotia. Backmarker traffic going to play a role here as the battle for second place continues here with 60cc machines on either side of them. Ryan Lockhart gets to the outside line, lets Trent Corney and Jamie Dunlap through. Matt Stever out in front, just cruising now on the number 23 Toys for Big Boys Honda. Matt Stever over the doubles. Heads for the tabletop once again. Keeps it close to the ground to apply the power as quickly as possible. Stever on the number 23, Trent Corney on the number 17, holds down second spot. Back in third, Jamie Dunlap, the number 7 Honda. Back in the 60cc battle, Ryan Lockhart continues to lead on the Action Accessories KX60 Kawasaki, followed by the privately entered 170 CR60 Honda of Matthew Banks. Frustrating afternoon for the 171 rider, Michael Banks. Couple of bail-offs sent into the back, or close to the back of the 80cc pack. Trent Corney once again beginning to reel in Matt Stever. Stever probably cruising now as he sees the last lap card. And Corney not letting off the throttle at all. The number 17 Product Finder Suzuki out of Hillsborough, New Brunswick. Your leader through the minefield. Second place rider heads into the minefield. Third place rider Jamie Dunlap now sees the expense of rough terrain in front of him. Cooper Friend of Ellsworth, Maine, the number 21 Yamaha, taking up the rear of the field, his first adventure onto 80cc machines. He raced a 60 yesterday and 80 today. If he was racing a 60, he'd be with these guys, the number 8 of Ryan Lockhart, the number 170 of Matthew Banks. Lockhart leading the 60cc class quite handily now. And your leader into the infield for the last time in this moto, number 23, Matt Stever. Going to be a good afternoon for him, 30 points, resting on this checkered flag A 15-point win for a total of 30 on the day. Matt Stever from Bathurst, followed to the line by number 17, Trent Corney, with a wave for the crowd. Over the double for the last time this afternoon, for the last time at Hammond River Raceway for 1992, Jamie Dunlap, all the way from North Sydney, Nova Scotia, to pick up a third-place ride on the number 7 Honda. And the little guys squirt into the infield now as they head for the checkered flag. Ryan Lockhart just has to keep the black side down now as he clears the double. Comes into the hairpin for the last time. Checkered flag is waiting on the line for your 60cc class winner, Ryan Lockhart, the Action Accessories Kawasaki out of Spring Hill, Nova Scotia, followed to the line by Centerville, New Brunswick's number 170. Oh, Mike Banks is off again, face down in the dust. Michael Banks gets off on the tabletop, and I think he's seen enough of the sand for the afternoon.